So hello everyone. How y'all doing? It is the new moon in Aquarius today. I was just watching Tanya for her collective coffee with Tanya on Facebook, and it was great. It was her premiere solo live on the page, and it was a huge big smile on my face the whole time seeing her. So if you have not seen Tanya, she's going to be doing a coffee with Tanya every Friday on Facebook, usually in the morning, sometimes in the evening. You guys know how divine timing works here. So yeah, I had to watch. So we're here for the new moon in Aquarius. And I find it interesting. Hey, Rita, how you doing? I find it interesting because there's a yod going on between Chiron in the North Node and the Sun and Moon aimed at Juno, the asteroid Juno in Virgo. And so I had pulled up the Sabian symbols for it. And I'm feeling the energy. I was feeling the energy of it. And it reminded me of like the great migration of Europeans over to the United States, because they were looking for a new life. They were looking for, wealth. They were looking for freedom. They were looking to get out of oppression. They were looking to get out of poverty, and they're taking this leap of faith moving west, to a new life. And when I looked at the chart for it, given it was a span of time, but it really started with Pluto in Leo. And the sun was almost where Uranus is right now. And there was different things going on that I think are pretty interesting. And it's a similar energy. Because if you look, I printed it out. So this is the base of the yod. Okay, these are the Sabian symbols for the base of the yod. If I can deal with my camera. It's where the sun and moon are at 20 to 21 degrees Aquarius. And then 16 to 17 degrees is where we've got Chiron. And it leads to this, which is the Juno energy, right? And so we move from this place of feeling disappointed with the quote unquote emptiness of life and really kind of thinking in silence, right? Where we are on the inside. And that's what pushes the caravan of cars headed to the West Coast, which is also, a reminder of what we were doing when we were westward, right? Moving westward, even here in the United States, with California and all of the, United States expansion, Oregon Trail, right? A lot of you guys are familiar with that. And it's kind of this repeating theme of wanting more, that there's got to be more to life, right? Hey, Vicky, how you doing? And working together, when you hit roadblocks with yourself, and I think that's a big deal about what Pluto and Aquarius is, is about working together. If you are hitting roadblocks as an individual, then how can you incorporate other people with a similar vibration in order to propel all of each other forward? Why stay stuck in the pride of individuality, or doing everything on your own, or having all of the weight on your shoulders, when you're not the only one who feels the way you do. You're not the only one curious or interested in what else could be out there. And you're more likely to reach your goals with the incorporation of people, which also means being in your best energy, right? Because if you're going to work with other people, then you can't be an asshole or it ain't gonna last long term. You know, it's not going to leave on good terms. And sometimes that creates harsher energy than you anticipated to begin with, right? Good morning, Tanya. I was watching you for Collective Coffee and I loved it. But yeah, humanity, the collective, is really reaching this point that they're sitting with themselves. They're sitting with themselves and they're sitting with life, because life is seemingly empty, even if it isn't, right? The reality is that life is full, right? There is lots going on in life, lots you could do with life, lots that you could be seeing and understanding, lots of epiphanies to be had, lots of energy that you can move around and elevate. And all right, Tanya, see you later. Lots of energy that you can move around and elevate, and yet people are stagnating, and it's because they really don't know how to go deep with themselves in moments of solitude. Right? People are always busy going from one thing to the next, one problem to the next, you know, one roadblock to the next, you know, and they're trying to problem solve while they're focused on the problem, which you can't actually do, because if you're focused on problems, then you're only going to create more problems for yourself. And so being in this space, I think that if you find yourself there, if you find yourself a bit disappointed, or if you find yourself inside your heart space being a little disillusioned by life and how things have turned out, that you wish it could have, should have, would have been different, then I would recommend, based on the yod, because yods are keys, they're divine directions, okay? I would recommend sitting with yourself, your own energy in silence, to separate yourself from other energies just for a minute. Even if you go take a car ride somewhere for 15, 20 minutes and just sit in front of a lake or a river if you have access to one. You know, that was it still is one of my most favorite things to do when I'm clearing out my consciousness of all the different stuff, you know, that we get bombarded with in life. I would take a good 15, 20 minutes to yourself and ponder where you are and where you actually want to be and what you actually want to feel. What you would prefer to gift yourself. Hey, Kelly, good morning. And then make an agreement between you and you that you're going to gift yourself that. You know, some things, no matter how much importance we've placed on them or for how long we've placed importance on them, including our belief systems, right? Including our quote unquote morals, even they need tweaking sometimes. And the only way to really tweak it is to look at things from a different perspective, look at things from a higher perspective. You know, everybody draws certain things to themselves in this life. And as much as, like an example, we don't want to let certain people go, or we don't want to let certain places go, and we feel it is our quote unquote duty in some which way, shape, or form to be there for them. If you're absolutely miserable, if you're stressed out, if you're high anxiety, if you feel like who you are has completely deteriorated or is deteriorating before your eyes, and you miss the best version of yourself, right? Or at least a better version of yourself that you once knew, then give yourself permission to reclaim who you are in your life. You know, sometimes that means letting go of things completely. Sometimes that means revamping the way you're doing things and sticking to it and not going back on yourself when you give yourself this word. You know, when you give your word to yourself that things are going to be different. You know, if you're in relationships with people that you absolutely do not want to lose or let go of because your heart and soul is absolutely tied there, you're guided to stay there, but it's not healthy, then you have to be the change within yourself. You know, you have to be able to make that forward movement. Hey, Sandy, how are you? You have to be able to make that forward movement, you know, to kind of travel within the self to a new expanse and say, okay, this is where I've been. It's given me this experience. The journey, you know, is not necessarily going to be the easiest one. I might experience losses along the way, but it'll be worth it in the end, right? If we go to that expansion kind of analogy where people were settling from Europe into the United States, or people in the United States, once they settled on the East Coast, started moving westward, right, towards California, what would become California, you know, this kind of, it's not going to be the easiest trip, but it's better than where we are. The risk outweighs the possible pitfalls, you know, the reward is worth the risk. And I think that's where people are finding themselves with this new moon, especially because, you know, we've got some really awesome aspects to the nodes, right? We've got a trine to south node, sextile to the north node, which is really elevating the self and letting go of partnerships, alliances, allegiances, you know, to people that are no longer best serving. You know, we're talking about South Node, which is the past. It's karmic. It's in our sign of partnerships, you know, who we've connected ourselves with. And sometimes we have to recognize where things are not healthy. Likewise, we have to be able to erase old partnership dynamics with specific people to elevate our relationship dynamics with those specific people. We cannot stay the same. It has to be better, right? It has to be better. And I think the biggest challenge with the sun and moon in Aquarius today is the square to Uranus, because Uranus is the Fool card in Tarot. It is the Fool card. The Fool is Uranus. And it's that leap of faith and the sign of the reality, right? Taurus is about the reality, the very mundane reality. You have to be able to make them shifts. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's romantic, right? It's Venusian ruled. You have to be able to make these changes in both love and reality sometimes, whether it's literally changing who and where you are with, or how you love and how you earn and how you, you know, view stability and wealth, because Taurus is the sign of stability and reliability. Right, Taurus is that slow and steady wins the race. And sometimes how you're doing that slow and steady needs a fucking shake up. Like, for real, for real. Uranus being in trine to Juno, which we were just talking about being the apex of the odd, and Venus in Capricorn. This is about stoic love and a determination to hold order, right? But higher order. Uranus is really highly vibrating. So it's holding higher order, spiritual order, and shifting the reality by taking the steps as a loyal soul and having to make the hard choices and make the hard cuts, because Venus in Capricorn is like a CEO. And if the CEO loves money and loves wealth and wants a beautiful life, well, sometimes you got to make the hard cuts. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to say, you're fired. So if you're thinking about it from that perspective with your life, you know, you're not serving anybody's healing by being a crutch. You're not serving your own healing by leaning on familiarity. You know, well, this place is familiar. I've lived here my whole life, you know, or I've been at this job for 20 years, you know, and it's familiar. But if you're stagnating, you have to love yourself enough to take that step and be your own liberation. You know, fire this location from your experience. You're fired. Like, I can't be here anymore. You know, I have to move on to something else. You know, you're the CEO of your life. We've also got Jupiter in Taurus, and it's trining on Fortune. And if you're where I am in the world, I'm in CDT time zone, then it's actually trying your ascendant. Fortune's on the ascendant in Virgo, conjunct Lilith. And Lilith is retrograding, which is all about liberation, you know, liberating yourself from the shadow, and instead of self-abandonment, really self-discovering. How can you discover yourself when you embrace stability and reliability in your life as a part of self that you could choose from a stable place, and you can choose from a place of being able to rely on yourself, that you trust yourself, right? Which is essentially what it all comes down to, that you know intuitively the steps that you can take to move forward, because this Fortune Lilith energy in Virgo is actually being opposed by Saturn in Pisces on the opposite end of the spectrum. And so if you think about Saturn being the Lord of time and karma and our tough love teacher, you would know that not taking the steps to liberate yourself is actually going to become quite spiritually heavy, because Saturn is teaching you, when you don't choose in your highest good, there are energetic consequences to your actions based off of your energetic vibration. If you're not going to raise your vibration, or you're going to stagnate, or your vibration lowers, right, as it naturally would over time, the longer you stagnate, it tends to start to feel worse over time. And Saturn is that kind of vice that grips you and says, how much pressure, spiritual pressure, do you want to put yourself under, right? Because the intuitive pings in Pisces are going to start to get really heavy. The dreams will get really heavy, or there'll be really rough or unsettling sleep. You know, it's going to become difficult the more you put off this kind of westward expansion within the self, right? We have to allow ourselves to, if you think about going west, right, the sun also sets in the west. It's kind of also allowing yourself to face the dark night. Some people collectively have not gone through it. There are people on their journey who are just starting to realize how unhappy they actually are in their stagnation, which means they have to go through the transformation process. And that's a dark night kind of moment. You know, and people always talk about, oh, the dark night of the soul, and it's so awful, it's terrible. And it is. And it is. It's fucking hard. But at the same time, if you don't go through it, you don't get the rebirth of the day. You know, you don't get the dawn on the other side of the night. You don't get the breakthrough that you need, right, to really rise into the next chapter of your life. And so facing the dark night, as difficult as it may be, is so necessary, right? It's so necessary. And people trying to control things or think of the highest good of everybody, right? What is in the highest good of everybody? This is what Pluto in Aquarius says. Let me transform how everybody is doing things based on what I think is the highest good for them. When really it's knowing that when you are shining in your own light and doing what is in your highest good, to feel good the way you want to feel, that it is actually in the highest good of everybody else's healing, right? You remove the crutch, you remove the excuses, you remove, you know, the toxicity that is kind of settled in place, and force people into a position where they have no choice but to elevate because you did. And that's what the ripple is. You know, if we're talking about the Leo and Aquarius polarity, Leo in its light is extremely generous, and its shadow can be quite arrogant or indignant when it comes to the self. They can be really prideful, which isn't always a bad thing. But Aquarius, you know, people don't really talk about Aquarius's shadow sides outside of like being detached, which is not the only shadow to Aquarius, right? Aquarius, even though they are the sign of the humanitarian and the sign of the healer, and their light, right? High vibration, high perspective, they pour, the shadow is very fixed, right? And it's groupthink. It's not being able to think for yourself. It's doing what is best for the group to the detriment of the self. And vilifying people who are different. And so when you're vilifying yourself for not doing what other people expect you to do or want you to do based on the highest good of everybody, you're actually in misalignment. You know, like that's why I love all you Aquarians out there. Like a lot of Aquarians you'll find are vegan and they promote veganism, and that's all well and good. And a lot of them take it to extremes, you know, and they're just like, they're damning people because they eat meat and shit like that, you know, or you have to be good to the environment. And yes, you do have to be good to the environment, but there's ways to go about it instead of dictating, right? Because they could take on, Aquarius can take on the shadow of Leo, dictating what other people should do based on their opinion of what is in the highest good versus everybody getting together and sitting down and coming into an agreement. And that way, you know, there's different ways to go about it. And so Pluto is saying, yes, work together, but in ways that maybe you haven't perceived before, because Aquarius is a higher level of perception. Work together in ways you haven't necessarily seen before. Maybe you've been working together, living under the same roof, and it's been toxic as fuck, and no one is changing, no one is growing, everybody's stagnating. Maybe the best way to work together is to actually detach and focus on the light of the self and what you can do to be proud of yourself in your own life, that you would look back on your life and actually have no regrets, you know, that you would be able to say you've lived your life to the fullest. So briefly, I am, especially too, because Pluto at 0 degrees, and I noticed it, there's a 𝘗𝘐𝘕𝘌𝘗𝗗𝘗𝘓 energy to Estrella in Gemini, and double air sign, because it's 0 degrees Aquarius and Estrella is at 29 degrees Gemini. Estrella is an asteroid that, to me, really represents the divine healing light, right? This diamond white kind of river that washes over everything and heals it. And being in 𝘗𝘐𝘕𝘌𝘗𝘗𝘗𝘓 with Pluto, 𝘗𝘗𝘐𝘕𝘌𝘗𝘗𝘓 are wild cards. They could be wildly good or wildly difficult, but most often they're both. And so I think that the healing of the reality, right, the face value facts of the reality, in order to bring it into that, you know, Cancerian nurturance that Estrella is on the cusp of, that you really have to allow the transformation via the higher understanding of things, you know, that you can't allow other people to tell you, well, you're a failure if you leave this person, or you're a failure if you give up on this situation, or you've got to stick it out no matter what and be a man or be the woman or whatever, you know, like you've got to be able to do this, and that's what's going to make you strong. And it's like someone else's opinion of strong or what is good or what is bad is, it's fucking what? It's just their opinion. It's just their opinion. They don't know what's best for your life. They don't know what's in your highest good journey. They're just repeating the garbage that they were taught that put them in the situation that they're in. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You know, behind closed doors, nobody actually knows what anybody else is going through unless you're living behind that closed door with them. You don't actually know what's going on behind there until you experience it yourself. So someone can come off like they have all the answers. They've got it all together. They've got the best relationship. They've got this house and this savings and this job, blah, blah, blah. But behind closed doors, you don't know what situation they're living in. You don't even know what they're feeling inside the self. The closed door, right, of the self. And people don't see it. You know, people don't see just how stressed out someone is just because they come off like they've got it all together. You know, you don't actually see the anxiety someone feels at the fear of failure because they're holding everything up. You know, that's what's behind their closed door. So people can give the greatest, quote unquote, greatest advice, what you should do, what their opinion is. But what is best for you is what is best for you. And I think that if you need to expand yourself and expand your life, that this is the best time to give yourself permission to do that. The biggest challenges present with this new moon is the square coming from Venus to the nodes from Capricorn, right? That ability to stay kind of stoic despite the potentially very strong emotions, right? Capricorn's opposite is Cancer. And so when you put that CEO energy on Venus, having to delegate, having to make the cuts, right? Having to make the cuts, it might be heart-wrenching to let certain people go. Like if you think about being a business, you might absolutely love a certain person, but if their numbers are failing, they're not productive, they're costing you more than what they're bringing in for the company. It doesn't matter how much you absolutely love them or that they smile in the morning and they bring coffee to you or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? If you think of yourself as a CEO, if they're not worth it, literally, they're actually creating pullback. You got to make the hard cuts. Sometimes you got to let them go. It's like you could feel for someone's personal situation too, but if their personal situation is causing them to call out, or it's causing them to not show up sometimes, or it's causing them to be frantic and make mistakes, like, you know, you can't keep them on the payroll. You know, the energetic payroll. You can't keep giving your energy to somebody, you know, and that we're talking on a metaphorical level, but on a real level, like if you are the CEO of your life and you've got that one person who can't show up for you when you need them to half the time, and then they call you randomly out of the blue and just trauma dump all over you for an hour, and it changes your whole day because not only are you behind an hour in what you thought you had time-wise, now your energy is all frantic because you literally just dealt with this chaotic energy. And it's like, maybe, as much as you care about this person, you need to draw a healthy, firm boundary. Even if the boundary is temporary. You know, that's square to the nodes, that Venus, that Venusian heart pull between what is best for the self and karmic relationships from past lives. Like, why do you think we care so deeply about people? It's because we've known them in another life. We've known them before. Their soul is familiar. Of course we care about them, you know, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're on our highest good path right now. They're not on the same journey right now. And maybe y'all will meet up at a later date, right? And paths will re-merge together. But in the meantime, you really can't afford to stagnate. And I think that's probably one of the bigger challenges. Same thing with the Jupiter-Mercury square going on. We've got Jupiter and Taurus square Mercury and Aquarius. The reality may seem exceptionally overwhelming. Jupiter and Taurus square Mercury, the mind, right? We want to see things from a different perspective, but the reality of life, well, I have these bills, like I can't leave this job, I have these bills, I can't leave this person, I fucking live with them, like I can't do this because of this. The overwhelm of the reality might really be having a hard time on the mind, right? Giving the mind a hard time. And that's when you really have to take that moment of space from the reality. Hey, Kristen, how you doing? You might really have to take that space in the reality and say, okay, so this is what I need, right? This is what I absolutely need. And I don't necessarily know all that is available to me. I think I do, but I don't necessarily know all that is available to me. You know, like even, and I'll give a personal example so that you guys can kind of maybe connect your own dots in your own life. When I left my ex a couple years ago, I had no car. I had my teenage son with me. I had no job outside of what I did, you know, on socials. And I had no family. So the reality might have been overwhelming. Well, I can't leave my boyfriend. You know, he puts the roof over my head. He's my cars. He pays for XYZ. You know, my online work pays bills and pays utilities, but I can't afford a car. Like I could have been completely overwhelmed. And the reality is I just didn't know what was available to me. You know, I have soul family that is amazing, that came through for me in huge ways once I definitively decided that I was going to go. I didn't know how I was going to go, had no clue how I was going to do it. I just definitively decided that I was going to do it and that the way would be shown. And it was. And it was shown. Once you align your energy, which is what Aquarius is about, as above and so below, right? The waves of energy, as above and so below. Once I definitively made the choice, I was able to actually get a moving truck and move to a new location. A friend of mine opened up her doors and I was able to go there with my son and figure stuff out. I was able to take the next step from there, and I was able to take the next step from there. And now I have a wonderful job. I've got a brand new car. I've got my own place. You know, all the things I didn't have then, I was able to get, you know, and I have them all now. So, you know, just because you don't see what options are there yet doesn't mean they aren't there. It means you haven't aligned to see them yet. So do not feel that you are completely stuck in a gutted situation, that you actually have options unbeknownst to you. You just haven't aligned with them yet. Right. And once you definitively choose your alignment, once you definitively choose to better yourself and how you feel, right, that you would align yourself with how you want to feel, because you don't deserve to feel like shit. You don't deserve to be taken for granted. You don't deserve to be under so much pressure. You don't deserve to be under so much stress. Like, you're loved by the divine. The divine does not want you stressed out. God, source, spirit, creator, whatever the fuck you want to call it and resonate to, like, it's not meant to be hard. Like, life is meant to be enjoyed, right? We're in this place of, you know, this stoicism, right, with the yod, based off the sun and moon, right, which is a big part of that with Chiron and North Node. Like, this is the foundation. When your mind, this is what new moons are all about. When your mind, the masculine aspect of the self, which is the sun, and the feminine, the receptive energy, the moon, come together, they have a divine conversation. This is why new moons are all about new chapters and clean slates, for that exact reason. Because the mind and the heart reach an agreement point. The mind and the heart reach an agreement point that says, okay, this is how I feel, and this is how I want to feel. Feminine energy. And this is what I can do and what I can choose to achieve it. Masculine energy. And the clean slate's created. And this is a big one. This one requires some form of stability, some form of reality, familiarity to be let go of. Right? If you want to make great changes, great rewards come sometimes with the greatest risks, and you have to be willing to let yourself open to receive it, right? Being open to receive it. So that is the overall message with the new moon. Now we're going to get into the different themed readings, right? Because this reading the whole theme that I got for this, and you could even tie the Wizard of Oz to this. Like, Dorothy went on a fucking dream, westward expansion, right? The man behind the curtain. The man behind the curtain. You can resonate to Dorothy, Scarecrow, Lion, or Tin Man. And I will have timestamps for all of this stuff after. But the whole feeling that I got, you know, with the Wizard of Oz, because even the wizard, right, was stuck being this facade for so long. The great and powerful Oz, you know, like, and he's just a guy, like he's just an everyday guy, an everyday human that was kind of lost, no different than Dorothy. And it took teamwork, literally teamwork, to get his balloon back up and running so that he could free himself from this facade. And he literally flew off in the balloon, right? This expansion of the self, this westward high aligned, right? You think about a hot air balloon. Highline travel, when it comes to the perspective, he had to be willing to let the facade go, the great and powerful Oz. Like, great and powerful what? The guy was miserable. He was stuck there in this fucking woo wonderland of whatever, you know, like that's not who he was. He couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there. That was the reality of it all. Putting on this big, powerful facade and could not wait to get the fuck out of there. And with a little bit of help, he did. You know, so we're going to be getting into the man behind the curtain with each of these readings to maybe help you better understand what is going on within yourself. When you're real and vulnerable with yourself, recognizing your energy, and then get some guidance on how we can elevate you out of it, right? That would be the point of these readings today, and whenever they catch you in divine time, if you are guided to one of them. All right. All of my beautiful members and even my moderators, if you are in the comments and you would like to let me know a wish that you would like to make, I'm going to be burning Bayleaf wishes at the end. Some of my members have already let me know the wishes that they want because they're they're privileged, they're divine rebel diamonds and such, and they get all of these announcements in advance. So if they were not able to make the live today, I do already have some of their wishes written down on bay leaves. But as I go through the readings, if anybody in the chat would like to make a wish for this new moon and the new chapters that they're creating, what they wish to bring in, then you can let me know in the comments and I will make sure to write them at the end. The comments in the live chat aren't going anywhere. Make sure you're in the live chat though, because I won't see the comments section everybody else has until after. So make sure if you're a member or you're a moderator in the live chat. If you're not a member, you could sign up. It's like $1.99 a month, which is as cheap as a pack of gum. So, you know, if you want to make a wish and you want to be a member and have access to other cool, you know, I highly recommend you do that. Invest in yourself. In the meantime, what decks? Okay. Got the Good Tarot. Sacred Power cards. And Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle. All right, those will be the guidance for each reading. We're going to start with Dorothy. Oh, I can't wait to sleep in tomorrow. Kristen, I can't wait to sleep in tomorrow. It's going to feel so good. I pulled a 12-hour shift yesterday. It woke up early this morning because I got to go back in and close again today. All right. That's good. Dorothy. If you resonated to Dorothy, you're not in Kansas anymore, darling. Let's see. Spirit, please. Oh, Spirit knows. I run on divine will. So, Spirit knows. All right, secret code name Dorothy. All right, Rita, I got you. Ooh, here we go. The man behind the curtain. Speaking of hot air balloons. Let me show you the 4 cards that I've got. I've got the Sun, the 6 of water, the 7 of water, and the 6 of fire. All right, Sandy, love you. So for secret codename Dorothy, bottom of the deck is the Judgment. Top of the deck is the Ace of Earth. I'm hearing a few things. One being letting the path choose you. As far as getting to know the deep inner self, or the things that the wounded inner child thinks about, fears about. I think you might have so many people that you don't want to let down, that you're taking on a bunch of different roles or wearing a bunch of different hats in order to be something for everyone, but that doesn't necessarily yield a self-defined path. I think you might have multiple people knowingly or unknowingly putting this expectation of who you are, who you're meant to be for them on you. I think that your biggest struggle or your biggest test would be to self-define. I think that you might be defined a lot by other people, even their expectations of you and what they think you're capable of or not capable of, you know. Feeling like you're at this crossroads between the reality that you're in, being everything you need to be for other people, and the ideal life or the ideal self that you would be if you weren't, quote unquote, beholden to everybody else. And I think you're getting those intuitive nudges from spirit that everything that you're holding on to really kind of does need to tower, really kind of does need to reset so that you can reinvent yourself and move forward. How else are you going to find the treasure if you don't set sail? You know what I mean? I'm looking at the bottom of the deck and I came across that 8 of Water card. And you see the ship sailing in the background. Right. And it just reminds me of that energy. Like sometimes you have to set sail to find the ship, and other times if you're stuck on the same treasure, right? Well, this is my treasure. This is where my treasure is. It's a treasure chest filled with bubbles. Sometimes you miss the ship. You're so hung up on the treasure that you've got that might be precious to you, you know, but they are bubbles. They do pop. You're so hung up on the treasure that's temporary, thinking that it's permanent, that you actually miss the ship towards the more permanent treasure, if that makes sense. Missing the ship. I think you're at a place in your life where you really have to get real with this space within yourself that wants to be authentic, that doesn't necessarily want to be defined by the expectations and obligations that everybody else labels you. Well, you're my mother, you have to do this. Or you're my brother, you have to do this. Or you're my father, you have to do this. Or you're my aunt, you have to do this, right? You have to. If you don't, then who will? And the answer is, well, if I don't, then you will. Then you will. The divine will help you. You know what I mean? The divine will help you find a way where there was none. The only way that people walk on their own sometimes without their crutches is when the crutch disappears. Sometimes people lean on a crutch out of habit because they get afraid that if they let the crutch go, that they'll fall. But the reality is they are strong enough on their own. Might not be the easiest path, but they're not going to like fall down and die. They might fall down and scrape their knee. It's like, okay, so you got a boo-boo. It's okay. You're going to learn that boo-boos heal. You know, like it's okay. We got to let the crutches go. You know, even when I was working at a job prior to the one I'm at now, I was working in a home with individuals who have intellectual and physical disabilities. And one of them had slipped somewhere on like a little patch of ice or something because it was the winter time. And she had hurt her hip. And so they gave her a walker to help her because she was in a lot of pain. But after like a month, they had taken her to the doctors like multiple times, did multiple scans. The bruising was gone. Everything was gone. Like she was fine. She literally just had a bruise from falling. And they told her like, you don't need the walker anymore. But the dramatics, right? When we're talking about intellectually disabled, it's kind of metaphoric to how people are energetically or psychologically disabled from thinking, you know, that they can't be without this crutch of a person. They cannot be without this crutch of a fill in the blank. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like the world is falling apart. Like, holy shit, the dramatics, right? When we lose the crutch that we don't actually need. Yes, you may have needed it for a time, and you can feel blessed and feel grateful for the time that you had it because it helped you heal something about yourself that was damaged on a spiritual level. Maybe you were with somebody who treated you like gold for a time, and they taught you that you are worthy. They taught you are deserving of being treated better than all of the other douchebags or whatever that treated you like shit before. you know, but maybe you're not meant to actually stay with them. Maybe the way that you've been treating them has been like garbage, and that is why they're leaving, right? Maybe the way you treated them was not so golden and now they're moving on now. And so that's fine, right? Your golden crutch is leaving, but they taught you that you are deserving of being treated better. Now it's your turn to open up to that being something solid in your psyche, because the wounded child was taught otherwise, right? The wounded child was taught that you're not worthy of time. You're not worthy of good treatment. You're worthy of neglect. You're worthy of abuse. You're worthy of fill in the blank, right? So sometimes we have to acknowledge that the crutch has to go away, whether you're the crutch and you need to exit, or you've been using the crutches and the crutches need to exit, right? No matter what is going on in your life, sometimes you have to accept victory for what it is, even if it's mildly confusing because you don't know where it leads yet, right? You don't know where the winds are going to take you, so to speak. But you've got to be able to fly in that high perspective that says you're not drowning in life. You are swimming in choices. And that's a big difference, right? That's a big difference. So let's see what your guidance would have for you today, if you resonated to Dorothy. Well, I have this huge ass table. Y'all have no idea how much shit I was on this table. I've got so much. All right, Spirit, please. For Dorothy and those who would resonate to it. What guidance for them? What guidance for them? What else? Yeah. Okay. So we've got can I do it? Can my crooked ass fingers actually hold all these cards? We'll see. We've got obsession, compassion, and change. All right. So, obsession. The bottom of the card says it's time to get out of your head and back into your heart. It says this card shows up today to tell you that a situation, problem, or concern is rapidly consuming you, your every thought, feeling, and emotion. You are overthinking your circumstances, and there could be some paranoia involved. Rather than continuing to play out the worst case scenario over and over again, take a step back, calling in your angels and guides to assist you. No amount of worrying or obsessing is going to make this situation better. In fact, it will only make it worse. Find a way to think about something else. Do something that will help to distract you. Go for a walk, take the nap, or read an inspirational book. This obsession is creating a very stressful situation for you. And if you can find a way to let go, you will be able to see the solution to this problem or concern. The situation is not as hopeless as you think. It is time to get out of your head and back into your heart. Trust that all will be well, and it will be. The intuitive life coaching questions this card poses for you. In what ways are you overthinking your current situation? Are the circumstances as critical as they seem, or are extreme emotions getting in the way? What do you need to do to take your mind off of this so that you can find some clarity? This is what I was mentioning at the beginning about how sometimes you have to just step away from the energy that you're in and just take a trip to somewhere different. How I used to go to Cooper River when I was in New Jersey, and how I go to the lakes now that I'm here in Illinois, and just kind of take 15, 20 minutes to reset from the stress of it all, from the confusion of it all, the ties that we have to these soulmates that we feel so bound to, that it's our duty to shine for them. And it's overwhelming, and we're constantly overthinking about everything that we need to do for them, everything that we need to do to make sure that they're okay, to make sure that they're calm, to make sure that they're not stressed out, to make sure all their needs are met. And it's like, well, what about your calm? What about your stability, your peace? Who's looking out for your psyche? And that's why we have to walk a different path of compassion. You can't truly hold compassion and soul for others without holding compassion for yourself first. How do you know what compassion even is? You think you know what compassion is. You think you know what compassion is, what you've been taught compassion is. But you can't give compassion to other people if you truly have not given it to yourself first. You don't fully understand it then. All right, Vicky, see you later. Have a good day at work. Sometimes holding compassion for the self and changing that narrative of everybody else, everybody needs me. Everybody needs me. Why do you feel compelled to be needed to your detriment? If I'm not here doing this, it will all fall apart. If I'm not here doing this, everything will crumble. Let it crumble. Let it crumble. People will figure it out. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Let it crumble. Like, I wasn't sitting there thinking, well, if I leave my ex, he can't afford to pay the light bill and the cable bill and all the food and all this and the internet and all of that without me. He can't afford this, that, and the other thing. Well, what is he going to do? He needs me. No, the fuck he don't. No, the fuck he don't. He don't need me any more than I need him. And he figured it out, just like I figured it out. With no car and no job. Like, quote unquote job. He figured it out. It's okay. The world is not going to fall apart. Someone's life is not going to be in complete fucking shambles unless they choose for it to be in shambles. Unless they choose that. The world's not going to fall apart. It might rearrange itself. But no one's life is going to end over it. I mean, unless they choose it, in which case that is not a you problem. That is a them problem, and they probably do need to reincarnate to try again. It's not in your humanly job description. It is beyond your pay grade. Hold compassion for yourself. Let the highest good be had, no matter what that means. No matter what that means. It's your life at the end of the day. And you got to tweak it accordingly. Whether that means huge, radical, Uranian change in the reality, or huge Uranian change to your perspective. That you really need to see how certain things in your life are not benefiting you, and that they 100% cannot continue the way they've been. It cannot continue the way it's been. Right. To have that divine conversation with yourself and say enough is enough. I deserve better than this level of stress. And people, I can express it, and either they're going to step up or they're not. And if they choose not to step up, that's a them problem, because I'm telling them I need help, or I need this, or I need that. And if they're not responsive, then I need to help me in these ways. I can't say I didn't give them the opportunity to step up. They can't be pissed off when I take the rug with me because it's my fucking rug, and they're all pissed because I took the rug out from under them. It's like, no, I warned you. I needed this, and I needed this, and I needed this. And you pretty much told me to shove it up my ass when you changed nothing. Right? You changed nothing. You continued to put the same stress on me, the same burden on me, the same energetic vampirism. You kept doing it. You can't get pissed at me with your dramatics when the crutch goes away. Like, you chose it. You chose that. I'm an individual. I had conversations. You didn't want to hear it. Fine. Then you made your choices. That's the bed you're laying in until you decide to get out of bed and make a new one. People get all kinds of indignant sometimes, and it's just like, I wouldn't have had to choose this for myself if you made better choices, If you wanted me in your life, well, I told you what I want, to be happy. I'm not going to settle for an unhappy life because you refuse to be a part of it, It's like having conversations with someone over and over again about how you don't like their addictions or their alcoholism, and they refuse to get help. They refuse to try and work on it. They refuse to make the changes. And it's like, listen, like, I love you, but you don't want to work on your toxicity. You're not going to put it on me and make me deal with it too. Respectfully, I gotta go. I gotta go. All right. Getting into secret code names. Scarecrow. Secret code name. These picker readings will always be secret code names, guys, no matter how long it's changed. Let's see. All right, Scarecrow. Let's see. Spirit, please, for secret code name. Pick a reading, Scarecrow. What is the energy that we need to better understand the man behind the curtain within the self? What is the simpleness? What is the simpleness behind the exterior? What is that conversation, the inner child conversation being had? That needs to be better understood. One more. All right, bottom of the deck is the Messenger of Water. Top of the deck is the Queen of Earth. I got the Ace of Earth, the Four of Earth in the reverse, the Lover's card, and the Nine of Fire. If you were drawn to Scarecrow, It's interesting. The Lover's card in this deck is actually a Leo card. Really, you can see this. It's got the pillar with the elemental symbol for fire on it. And the other one has Leo symbol and the lions there. But it is the masculine and the feminine. And it's that new moon energy of it being in union. Leo being right the opposite of Aquarius. You know, if I remember correctly, the Scarecrow wanted a brain. Right, Tin Man wanted a heart, and the lion wanted courage. I think with the Messenger of Water on the bottom and the Queen of Earth on top, that who you are comes off very solid and reliable and is probably extremely intuitive and deep. That the foundation you have and bring within yourself is really solid, but that maybe you know that you let go because people choose in their own unconsciousness to project their wounding. Like you shine in the dark for people. To the point that they forget that their life is not as dark because you're shining in it. Does that make sense? They don't realize the benefit of that they receive with the choice you make to shine in their world. You take on burdens psychological burdens, spiritual burdens that other people don't even know that they have. It's almost like you get the level of, it's empathy, but it's more than that. It's almost like you get divine downloads from your angels, right, about what someone needs on a spiritual level, and act accordingly, right? It's like, you know, this person deals with this, you know, this person deals with that, and you're getting these messages on how to love them better than they've been loved previously. For some of you, you may not even realize it. It's almost like their ancestors are communicating with you on how to best love them, because the woundeds were generational, right? The woundeds were passed down like ancestral karma. And because they didn't heal it, right, the ancestors, which is why, you know, the person you're dealing with has these wounds. It's like they're giving you guidance so that you can help them heal it. I think the issue with that is, at some point you grow tired and you have to let go. Because you can't force someone to heal. Like, you can give them the best love there is. You can get all the divine guidance, you know, that you get, and act on all of it. But at the end of the day, you can't actually force the horse to drink, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you could lead it to water, but you can't force it to drink anything. And so I feel like, in a sense, you might lead the horse to water, but have a hard time sticking around knowing that the horse is dying of thirst and it's just refusing to drink. It's like, you dumb bitch. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're literally dying of thirst. I have literally brought you to water, and you're gonna stand there and look at me like I'm the asshole. Like, for real. And it's probably really frustrating, and it leaves you wounded, because then you feel like all the guidance and all of the things that you've done, right, all this divinely guided action that you've taken to help somebody, still can't help anybody. And it's hard to not take that personal, you know, because you start to question your intuition. You start to question the downloads that you were getting. Like, did I fuck up? Did I miss one? Did I not love them enough? Did I not listen to something? Like, and it's like, no, you did everything exactly as you were supposed to do. It's not your fault. The horse is stubborn. You know? Yeah, exactly. You can't actually force them to do anything. And so, you know, I feel like, this being who you are, like, you might put on a very stable, reliable, put together, calm and collected, obviously compassionate outer facade. And on the inside, it's almost like, you know, that the foundation you have within yourself is so solid that if you had to choose to let go, you already know in advance. Like, you already know in advance that you're helping someone and being guided to help someone, well aware that you will most likely have to let them go at some point, and have to trust that the inner work that you're doing with them is not wasted. The work within afterwards is to make sure that you haven't taken their wounds and made them your own, right? Mm-hmm. All right, Lola, I got you. I got you. So let's see what the guidance is then for Scarecrow. Spirit, please, for those who were drawn to this reading. what else? What else? Okay. So we've got soul group and affirmations. Now with this soul group, it says you are getting ready to unite with members of your soul family. Because if you resonated to Scarecrow, you are not the only one like this. You are not the only one like this. Okay? So it says, a special group of people is waiting for you to come home. That is the message of this card. To tell you that you are getting ready to unite with your soul group or soul family. A soul group is a collective of kindred souls who come together with a similar set of beliefs, similar ways of doing things, and a similar view of the world. You will know when you have met these souls based on a simple but powerful feeling. A feeling of being at home and accepted in a way that you never truly have before. It will feel as if you have known these people your entire life, because even though you have just met them in this lifetime, you have known them for many, many lifetimes. This is a very special reunion, and you will experience the after effects for months to come. You are finally home, and your soul family has been expecting you. This kind of connection is an extraordinary feeling, a mutual understanding that you have yet to experience in this lifetime. Don't be surprised when you realize that you and your soul family share a common backstory, as well as uncanny similarities in habits and values. It is possible they will know what you are thinking even before you do. This fateful reunion is very exciting, exactly what you've been waiting for. And if you have not met your soul group already, rest assured that you soon will. Intuitive life coaching questions posed by this card. If you haven't already connected with your soul family, what kinds of qualities do you imagine its members would have? How can you prepare for this soul group to show up? So if you think about Scarecrow, he was standing in the middle of that cornfield doing a not so great job at scaring off the crows. And Dorothy showed up. Dorothy just showed up. And then they found Tin Man. And then they found the lion. Right? They found their soul family, right? Scarecrow was just hanging out there. And soul family started to show up. And even though they were very, very different, they all had a very similar thread, right, of being by themselves for what felt like a long period of time, right? Scarecrow was by himself in the field for a very long period of time. Tin Man had rusted over and was just left there by himself for a long period of time. You know, the lion was by himself, you know, scared for the longest period of time. And they all ended up coming together and they weren't alone anymore. You know, they found the missing parts of themselves by the end of the journey. You know, Dorothy found this sense and desire to be home, and the Scarecrow got his brain, right? The Tin Man got a heart, and the lion got his courage. So when you're with your soul group, even though you may be very different, You both share a very common feeling of what might have possibly felt like just drifting in the world by yourself for a very long time and not necessarily feeling understood or like anybody else gets it exactly what it is that you go through on a regular basis, especially if you are getting these divine downloads on how to best love people and dealing with the fact that people refuse to love themselves. You know, you're not the only one who is guided in that way and has dealt with situations like that. And, you know, you're not alone, right? You're not alone. And so if you could imagine that your soul family, although they may be very different, look very different, come from very different backgrounds, very different histories, all know what it feels like to be alone, to not know if there's anybody else out there who really understands what it's like to love as you're guided without knowing if it will even yield the result that you're hoping that it does. You know, you're going to connect with other people now that get it. They get it. And it's about focusing on affirmations. Like, your affirmations are extremely powerful. You know, the I am grateful. I am strong. I am lovable. I am a change agent. I am purposeful. I am one with my divinity. I am blessed. I am grateful. I am grateful. I am connected to spirit. I am listening. I am feeling correctly. I am. I am. I am abundant. I am full. I am at peace. You know, I am whole. I am whole. I am whole. That we don't take on the holes, HOLES, from other people that we're guided to serve for a time. And it's because we are whole, right? WHOLE. We are whole. That's why we're in their mirror. That's why we're reflecting that for them. You know, and there are other people out here in the world that are whole too, and doing their best to show other people that their holes are not required, that they can be solid and whole too. You know, you don't have to be empty. You don't have to drain. You don't have to bleed, right? Spiritually bleed on people who didn't cut you. You don't have to do that. Just because that's what you were taught doesn't mean that's what you have to do, you know. All right. So I have faith that helps. I have faith better understanding yourself and the guidance to remember will help. You're not alone. We're going to move forward into Tin Man. And then we'll do Lion. All right. So secret code name. The secret code. I'm going to say that forever. Tin Man. Spirit, please. For those who are drawn to this reading, what conversation is going on with the wounded inner child on the inside? What truth do we need to receive from that part of ourselves? The vulnerability behind the self-composed and powerful exterior. What do we need to understand about the vulnerable self? For those who are drawn to Tin Man, you're most welcome. All right, what else? Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Fire. Top of the deck is the Ten of Earth. We've also got the Justice card and the Ten of Fire. So lots of ones. So 10 of Earth on top, 6 of Fire on bottom. I've got the 10 of Fire, the Justice in reverse, the Page of Fire, and the 3 of Water. If you have resonated to Tin Man, I think that this reading one pertains to how connected you are to your different families. Like, you have your blood family, you have your work family. It's like a family away from your family. You spend just as much time at your job as you do at your house, right? Or your friends who are like family. You have the family that you were born into and the family that you marry into or create with someone else. I feel that you may definitely be a cycle breaker. You're a cycle breaker. I think who you are underneath what other people see. I think you have clarity about the story or the narrative that people tell themselves. That they say, like, this is unfair, that's unfair, I deal with this is fucked up. But what you're actually seeing and hearing is how they're unjust to themselves, unfair to themselves. Like, you can't complain you have no money when you're also a gambler. You know? So this person might be saying, oh, I have no money, I'm broke, I can't, I'm broke, I blah, blah, blah. I wish I could, but I can't, but they're a gambler. And as soon as they get $5, it's gone. You know? It's like you are very well aware of, and that's a very simple, obvious thing, but it's no different when you know, you have a friend who is in a hard relationship with someone and they're saying, yeah, you know, like, this person treats me like this, or they take advantage of me like that, or they talk to me like this, and, you know, it hurts me. And at the same time you're listening to this, it's like you can see the repeating story, though. Like, you could see how maybe this person's probably done it before, or you don't necessarily buy into the victim mentality of other people because, you know, on some level they're choosing it. And maybe that's why the Tin Man wishes for a heart, because it's like you might have a hard time feeling bad for people. You might have a hard time feeling bad for people because you realize that people are choosing this shit for themselves. You know, like, no one said that you have to stay in the situation. No one said that you have to stay with this person or in this place or with this job or with whatever. Like, no one said you have to. Like, I don't feel bad for you. You know, like, I don't feel bad. You're the kind of person that, and it's not because you're calloused and devoid of feeling. I think that if someone were to choose their success or choose their betterment, that you would feel a great deal of joy for them. You know, that you would be really proud of them, that you would feel like, finally, you know. It's not that you're some kind of cold asshole that doesn't care about other people. It's just that you recognize the fact that if people are weighed down and burdened spiritually with the crosses that they're bearing for other people, it's because they chose to pick it up and they're not choosing to put it down. It's like, listen, like, don't cry to me that the cross is heavy when you're the one that picked it up and you can put it down. Like, you know, like, don't cry to me that the cross you're carrying for someone else is fucking heavy when that person can carry their own fucking crosses or drop it. Like, oh, this person's wounded. They're just an asshole because they have daddy issues or they have mommy issues, and that's why they're an asshole. So I carry this cross for them. Don't cry to me about it, though. I don't want to hear about it. Like, you chose to pick up the cross. Like, I don't want to hear about your problem over and over and over and over again. Like, yeah, it's not fair, is it? No, it's a shame you choose unfairness. Like, oh, it's not just, yeah, well, you know, who made that choice? You know, well, this person's not financially responsible. They don't know how to keep a job. You know, they're this, they're that. They need someone to support them. Okay, so you picked up that cross, and now you want what? You want sympathy? You want a medal? Like, you want a certificate saying you're the world's best person? You're stressed out. It sounds fucking dumb to me. Like, it sounds fucking dumb. Sounds fucking dumb, you know? And it's like these people want you to feel for them. And you're like, I don't feel shit for you. Like, change your life if you don't like it, or stop complaining. Either change your life if you don't like it, or stop complaining because you're choosing it. Don't complain about what you're choosing. That makes you look dumb. Am I wrong now? You know, like, stop. You're not an asshole because you choose to listen to your intuition when it comes to third-party energies. Like, if you don't want to get involved in someone else's life because they're obviously fucking needy or obviously codependent and need you for something, unless y'all are truly mutually benefiting and elevating each other out of that energy, what is the fucking point of picking up someone's cross for free? Yeah, you got to carry your load and theirs now? Sounds like an awful deal. It sounds like an awful deal, right? Awful. You know, it's just, I could see if someone said, will you carry my cross for just a moment? I'm literally going to start a fire so we can burn it. Okay. I'll hold it for just a minute so that you can start a fire so that we can burn it. This way, no one has to carry it. But in the meantime, I'm not just going to carry it for the sake of carrying it. Like, if you're not going to burn whatever it is that is burdening you, I'm not going to sit here and carry the burden. You know, it's that kind of thing. Like, yes, is there a reason why you would pick something up for somebody for a short period of time? Yeah, because they're actively choosing to right injustices, right? To bring balance back into their life and put things and people and situations in their place so that they can be free of it. But carrying shit for free? No, thank you. No, thanks. No, thanks. I'm good. I'm good. I got shit to do. Not trying to be a bitch, but I got shit to do. Listening to you complain about the shit you're choosing is not it. Like, for real. I'll be proud of you when you choose better for yourself. I will celebrate with you when you choose better for yourself. We can go out and be free in the world when you choose better for yourself. In the meantime, like, let me out of it. Yeah. Everybody does the work eventually. It's just all in divine timing. Some people do it this lifetime. Some people did it last lifetime. Some people will do it next lifetime. Some people will do it in 20 years. Some people did it 20 years ago. You know, it's just, it sucks, but everybody's on there. Everybody is on the divine's time. It's unfortunate. We're just a stepping stone in the pathway for a lot of people. You know, we're a stepping stone on the pathway for a lot of people. And sometimes it's like, find another way across. Right? Find another way across. All right, Spirit, what's the guidance for Tin Man? What's the guidance for Tin Man and those who are drawn to it? Source. What else? What else? Devas. So, where'd my book go? Source. At the bottom it says, your connection to Source is the light and love that shines through and leads the way. This card shows up for you today to remind you that all things are connected to one source. You can call that source whatever you like, as it is known by many different names in many different cultures in many different countries. Source is God, infinite intelligence, higher power, spirit, and more. All names that reference the one source or origin of all that is. Just remember that you must develop your own relationship with Source, a relationship that is unique and personal to you. And you will know when you are connected to Source because you will radiate pure, unconditional love. That is love that does not operate out of fear, judgment, anger, or hate. You will be present in the moment with an abundance of love and compassion, enough to share with all to infinity and back. Whenever we feel helpless, hopeless, lost, fearful, judgmental, confused, or angry, it is time to reconnect with Source. Though we never truly lose our connection, we temporarily lose our faith and our truth, forgetting who we are and doubting our ability to have a relationship with Source. Go within to reconnect with love and all that is. Ask Source to show you the way. This connection is the light that shines through you and always leads the way to health, happiness, and peace of mind. The intuitive life coaching questions posed to you by this card. How can you develop your own relationship with Source? In what ways do you feel more connected? In nature, in silence, in a place of worship, in prayer, in meditation? What daily practice can you put into place to strengthen your connection? And you got Devas, which might just be one of the ways that you can practice, right? I'm actually going to read Devas for you. I haven't read anything out of the other book because I'm pretty good on the cards. And I know what Devas is. It's about crystals and our connection to crystal energy. But I want to read it for you. So, Devas. Master your own energy. Take appropriate action. It says Devas are highly evolved nature spirits that make their way across all realms. Every part of the world is alive with nature spirits. Devas are found in water, fire, trees, and crystals. These intelligent beings follow the law of karma, manipulating energy around our thought patterns to achieve specific results. Devas are masters of energy and encourage you now to master your own. Learn about your reactivity to issues and events. Gain greater insight into your being. What are you putting out to the universe? Ask the Devas for help with this task so you can move through life's changes with ease. The Devas have made themselves known to you and encourage you to work with the energy of crystals to turn your thoughts and actions into positive processes. Working with crystal Devas can align you with the vibration suited towards the shift you are looking for or physically working on. Right now, you are being guided to connect to all Devas of the earth realms. Take a gentle walk through the bushlands or gardens, or visit ponds, lakes, or streams. Spend time connecting to the breath of nature. Communicating with Devas in this way supports a positive lifestyle. Planting and nurturing your own garden in pots or in soil creates a happy space for Devas to play in. Creating a happy relationship with the devas encourages them to work in your favor when you request their assistance. The crystal deva of clear quartz is asking you to connect to the crystal kingdom. Clear quartz is a master healing crystal. It has the potential to work on any condition or illness. Known as the stone of power, it amplifies the energy and intentions around it. This crystal deva supports daily affirmations and mantras with positive energy. The special prayer attached to this card, it says, to the 7 great rishis, I ask you to liberate my soul's consciousness so I can live a life of peace, love, and happiness. Thank you. You know, we were taught that we're supposed to care about other people. We were taught that we're supposed to feel bad when they're struggling. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe you're going through this. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. What can I do to help you? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know, like, how can I make your life easier? How can I be of service? And naturally, you're like, I don't really fucking care. It's not my problem, not my monkeys, not my circus. It's not because I'm heartless, right? You're being told you're heartless. How could you not care? How can you not do anything? Because it's not a problem I created and it's not my problem to fix. That's that person's problem that they need to fix. They got themselves in, they can get themselves out. Like, I'm sorry, that person's energy is heavy. It's like them being down in a hole, asking you to pull them up out of the hole, right? Reach in and pull me up. But, you know, I got to carry my 100 fucking ton cross with me. You got to pull me out with my cross on my back. It's like, I can't do that. I'm literally going to fall in with you, trying to carry your burdens and lift you out of the hole you're in. I can lift you out if you let your crosses go. You let all these burdens you're carrying go, which is how you got down in that hole to begin with. You let the cross go, I can pull you out. But I can't literally pull you out if you're going to hold on to that cross without me falling in with you. Then what? That is your connection to source. You're not a heartless person. You're not a cold person or an uncaring person. You're holding compassion for them on a level that most people do not understand. If you chose to get yourself in that situation, you can choose to get yourself out of it. That is what life is. Life and love is the presence of choice. You chose to get in. You can choose to get out whenever you want. Put the crosses you're carrying down. Put them down. And while your cross is left in that hole, when you get your ass out of it, bury it. Lay it to rest. Lay it to rest. It is no longer your burden to carry or anybody else's. Let it go. That's your gift to people. You know, we're talking about crystal devas, you know, and having the devas of the earth, the spirit energies of the earth, aid you. Like, that's why there's this thing like stop and smell the flowers. Take a minute to stop and smell the flowers. Stop and smell the roses. Take a minute to enjoy the beauty of that and hold gratitude for that moment, that the flowers literally smell beautiful for you. Keep a crystal in your pocket. Tanya was talking about it this morning, gratitude stones. Keep a crystal in your pocket. Remind yourself you're grateful that you don't deal with the burden of fucking unboundaried, unhealthy empathy that other people deal with. Unhealthy, boundaryless empathy. You know, people call it being selfish. Oh, you're just selfish. You're selfish. No, I'm not selfish. I am selfless with myself. I'm selfless with myself. I'm not selfless for you. I'm selfless for me. It is not selfish. I just consider myself. Maybe you should take a lesson from it. Maybe you should do the same. Learn how to be selfless towards yourself. It's not selfish. It's called self-love. There is a difference. There is a difference. I'm not intentionally trying to hurt anybody, right? You're telling people like, I'm not trying to hurt you. It's not my intention for you to suffer. I don't actually want you to suffer, but you're choosing it and I can't stop you. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. You're not going to pull me down in that hole with you. Sorry, not sorry. You know, and people have to figure it out. Like, there is a difference between being selfish and only caring about yourself and knowing that you care about other people, but that you are not willing to sacrifice your well-being, sacrifice your energy, sacrifice your path, sacrifice your blessings to fall in some fucking hole with somebody. You know, there's a difference. There is a difference. You are not an asshole. So people making you feel bad, trying to make you feel guilty, trying to put on some fucking pity show for you, like, feel bad for me. And they're saying you're this or you're that, and they can't believe whatever. Like, shut the fuck up. God bless you. God bless you. I hope you see your own ignorance one day. I hope you get out of your hole one day. I really do. In the meantime, your energy is too heavy, hon, for my light. I'm going to float away now. Like, sometimes you got to let people go. Let them scream and shout and holler and stomp their feet in their fucking hole until they can't stand the sight of the hole anymore. If they want to die in that hole, great. Good for them. Good for them. They can come back next life. They can try again. They can try again. No worries. No worries. It's not my monkeys, not my circus. Everybody is responsible for themselves. You know, and that's why the one quote that I have said from the very beginning of this journey is, if everybody in the world just focused on healing themselves, the whole world would be healed. Everybody is so focused on healing everybody else but themselves that literally no one heals. But if everybody just focused on healing themselves, the whole world would be healed. Heal me, heal me. No, heal yourself. I'm working on healing myself. Heal yourself. For real. People got it so backwards. We're working on that. We're leading by example. We're leading by example. Like, sorry, my soul is not telling me to give a shit about your problems. My woundings would have, but, you know, healed those. So I'm in don't give a fuck mode. And I'm unfuckable. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But hey, if I could do it, you could do it too, right? Stop giving a shit so much. Anyway, moving forward. Moving forward to Lion. Lion. Spirit, please. What is the man behind the curtain with the lion? What is the reality of the vulnerable inner child behind the great and powerful facade? What is the real conversation going on in there? What insight do you need if you were drawn to the lion? What insight do you need if you were drawn to the lion? We got the 2 of fire and the magician. I get it. All right, give me one more. I need two more. Bottom of the deck is the sun. Well, that ain't the lion's energy. And the 8 of air on top. Okay, so you and your light is really natural. I feel like your light is being suppressed by the idea that you need to potentially prove that you are not what your family thinks you are or expects you to be. I think you might be trapped in your head right now because you don't want to repeat the same cycle or the same pattern that is truly your light because of some kind of familial wounding, to the point that you may even be repeating something that is acceptable. Like, let's just say, I'm going to use a random example. Maybe your parents got divorced when you were young. Maybe your mom or your dad had a really tumultuous relationship dynamic, and then finally settled with somebody who was stable, right? Financially stable. Maybe the home became stable or they're a good influence on them. And that's acceptable, right? That's acceptable to find somebody who created stability for you. And even if you're not perfect together, that's stable. And maybe you had the same start. Maybe you had a bunch of rough relationship starts. And maybe now you're with somebody who created some form of stability. And so you're sticking with it because you don't want to keep resetting and keep resetting and keep resetting and be that person. But the reality is you're meant to reset. You're meant to reset. And I think that you're trying to do what is acceptable because your family did it and it's acceptable. They might even be encouraging it, right? They might even be encouraging it. Stay stable. Stay where you're at. Don't lose it. Don't reset. Maybe they don't want to take care of you anymore. And every time you reset, you're like, well, I can't keep resetting. You know what I mean? I can't just leave this relationship now. My family won't take me back in or whatever, because I'm disruptive. And it's like, but you're not disruptive. You're meant to reset. You are the 2 of fire with the Magician. You might have strong air energy, especially Gemini, potentially Virgo as well, especially because I got the 10 of Earth out here. Your moon energy might be really strong for you as well, both sun and moon energy, especially if you've got either a moon in Gemini or Virgo. Strong Leo out here too. I digress. So you may be at this crossroads within yourself because you're the Magician. You are what is essentially the magical chaos. And there's a place for chaos. And trying to contain chaos is a fucking nightmare. Hey, Lorraine, how you doing? Yeah, put chaos in a box and try and contain it. And it will do everything it fucking can to bust out. I think you're meant to move forward. I think that you are meant to be with, I think soulmates create stability for you. I think soulmates with the 10 of coins, 2 of water and the 2 of coin, I think soulmates create some kind of stability, create some kind of abundance for you in some which way, shape, or form. But that ultimately you are meant to leave them and move on from them because they are lesson learning, which means you are quite disruptive for other people who are stagnating. You are the chaos agent. And so you might have this familial wound telling you to stabilize, telling you to stay put, telling you to not shake things up, for crying out loud. Just be what is acceptable. Be what is not a disappointment to us. Even though everything in you wants to wave your magic wand and change shit. I think you might see how other people miss opportunities that you are presented with naturally. You know, maybe not everybody gets proposed to. Maybe not everybody gets married. Maybe not everybody, you know, has partners that buy houses with them. But you might have been married multiple times. You may have had partners multiple times that bought houses for you. You may have had all of these opportunities show up that other people wish they had, and you're just fucking leaving it, right? You have this urge to just leave what other people pray for. And it's like, you're in your head about it because you don't know if it'll happen again, which it will because you're the magician. It's just a matter of choosing which path. Choosing which path. If it's not comfortable for you, then you've got to be able to let it go. You know, there's something about your energy that manifests everything because you're meant to show people that it's not what they do for you. It's not about the house that they give you. It's not about the ring or the promises or the commitments that their words speak. It's about their actions. It's about their behavior. It's about their love. It's about their ability to intuit what would help you feel better here and act on that, right? If someone can give you a house and someone can give you a ring and someone can give you kids or someone can give you fill in the blank that other people wish they had, but you're being put in a stressful situation for it. You're being put in a place of insecurity that you're not good enough for it. You know, if someone is playing mind games with you and gaslighting you for it, like, it's your job to leave that person. You know, you can't stay with someone just because they give you everything, quote unquote, everything, when it's not everything. The house, the kids, the car, the X, the Y, the Z is not good enough because I don't actually feel good. I don't feel good. You want to give me all of this stuff as an excuse to be a shitty person or a shitty partner. I don't want to accept payment in things, in mundane things. I don't want to accept payment in things to allow you to stay shitty and not heal yourself. Like, you could have a person who gives you all the shit, but they're a severe alcoholic and they're mentally and psychologically abusive. Okay, you're not allowed to be a shitty person. I don't care if you give me, quote unquote, everything that people wish they had. Go find somebody else to put up with your bullshit then. That's your MO. You will always manifest a new home. You will always manifest a new soulmate. You will always manifest a new everything that you need. Your job is to teach people that you will reset. You will reset and let go of everything they, quote unquote, gave you to teach them that they cannot be shitty and not heal. And you'll manifest it all over again. Matter of fact, you probably manifest it better every single time than you did the time prior. Every single time you reset, it's better than the last time. Eventually, you won't have to reset. Eventually, you will move forward and actually find someone who is stable because you refuse to settle for that which wasn't, spiritually speaking, spiritually stable, to where you won't be dealing with someone's bullshit. You won't be dealing with someone's wounds bleeding all over you in exchange for things that everybody else wishes they had. Like, to you, it's not worth it. I get it. I get it. I've been there. I get it. And other people are telling you to stop giving away all of the things that they wish they had. Like, I wish I had a person that had a house like that. I wish I had a person that bought me a car. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. You're stupid if you leave that. Are you kidding me? And it's like, no. Like, a part of you knows you're stupid if you stay. Because you're settling for something that spiritually, it just doesn't sit right with you. It's not worth all the mundane things. That's what you teach people. You shine light in people's shadows where they refuse to see, where they refuse to heal. You're that person. You're the big fucking spotlight in their shadows. And say, this right here, you need to heal that. Because if you don't heal this, it ain't worth all of this. It ain't fucking worth it. If you don't heal that, it's not worth it to be with you. No matter what you throw at somebody. No matter what you throw at somebody. Anybody worth having, truly, is not going to tolerate that. Anybody worth having is not going to tolerate that. You actually have the courage. Lion. You have the courage to walk away and reset. Where other people don't. Some people might tolerate alcoholism. They're not afraid of it, but you run from it. You're like, no, I'm not tolerating that. You're not the cowardly lion. Coward by whose standards? Oh, well, I'm strong because I deal with their shit. No, you're weak because you deal with their shit. In exchange for the house or the car or the fill in the blank. You don't believe you're capable of actually creating it yourself or manifesting better. I'm sorry. Since when did that equate to strength? You put up with their bullshit in exchange for stuff? How strong does that make you? The strength is in walking away. The strength is being able to see all that you quote unquote get and saying, no, that's strength. No, I'm not going to be put in a stressful situation. I'm not going to be put in situations where my anxiety is through the roof, where my emotions are through the roof, or where my light is being dimmed out by your bullshit. I'm not going to sit here and be yelled at and belittled and diminished and be told that I'm a piece of shit or I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? Like, walking away is strong. Telling that person that their behavior is not acceptable and walking away, that's strength. That's strength. Anybody can be codependent and create energy exchanges for stuff and take on bullshit for it. But saying I would rather give up all of this stuff for my peace, no, that's strength. That's strength. All right. Guidance. Secret code name Lion. What is the guidance? Secret code name. What else? Got the Magician twice. Because we've got Natural Born Leader, Manifestation, and Self-Love. I shit you not. You were born to lead others. It's a part of your life's path. You are meant to lead the way. You were meant to. Card number 11, natural born leader. It says, you have the natural ability to lead others. A true leader is not a dictator. A true leader is a person who leads through love, compassion, example, and integrity. He or she has concern for the greater good of all. Even if you have not fully stepped into this role, it is time for you to acknowledge your leadership abilities. A natural born leader is someone who does not have to persuade others, such as a person that just naturally leads. Compare this to someone who is trying to be in control, using persuasion or charm to get others to follow them for their own personal gain. This is not true leadership. Don't let people like this deter you from leading due to their own jealousy or need to compete. Likewise, if there is someone in your immediate environment that embodies the qualities of a true leader, you will only be hindering yourself in the long run if you try to compete with them. This person has much to teach and much to share. If you join them, there is much you can learn that can contribute to humanity and beyond. It is also possible to have a partnership in which, because the events and collaboration will be effortless, you will share the same collective vision of peace, happiness, love, success, prosperity, and equality for all. The intuitive life coaching questions that this card poses for you is, what qualities do you have that make you a natural born leader? Do you feel worthy of leading others? And if not, why is this? If you manifest self-love, not just within yourself, right? That's what you choose. That's your magic, your choice to love the self enough to leave, right? Situations that don't feel good to you anymore. You teach by example, right? True leadership, example, how others can do the same. It doesn't feel good to carry this burden with you. Not only does it not feel good internally to carry this burden, that burden pushes away other people that care about you, and that also doesn't feel good. So why are you carrying it? Right? Why are you carrying it? You're teaching other people how to love themselves by loving yourself. Like I said, it's not about control. It's not about charm. It's not about hidden agenda. Like people who try and persuade, people who try and convince, people who try and charm, people who try and whatever to get you to believe them, to follow them, to listen to them. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. And it's not for the reason they're explaining to you. It's called hidden motive. It's called hidden agenda. Someone has a motive. Like sometimes people in tumultuous relationships, like guys and women, it can go both ways. One partner is shady as hell, cheating, running around, drinking, abusing their partner, and then they'll try and, apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. It's this, it's that. They'll try and charm and persuade for you to stay because they don't want to pay child support, or they don't want to lose the roof over their head, or you pay for something that, they want to take advantage of. They've got a motive. If it's in alignment, you shouldn't need to be convinced. Did you hear what I just said? If it's in alignment, You shouldn't need convincing. If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a fuck no. Not now, not today. Why are they trying to convince you to stay? There's a reason. And they're being shitty in some which way, shape, or form, and they know it. And they know it. And they don't want to change it. They don't want to get better. They're not doing better. They're just trying to convince you to keep giving them whatever it is that you're giving them that they need from you, so that they don't have to be without that. And there's no other reason. Like, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Your addictions to whatever it is, addiction to control, addiction to power, addiction to money, addiction to sex, addiction to drugs and escapes, addiction to shopping, addictions to video games, addictions to porn, addictions to whatever the fuck they're doing. Toxic behavior, addiction to toxic belief systems, an addiction to their own fucking belief of self. Like sociopaths and psychopaths, they have an addictive personality. They're addicted to lying. They're addicted to the facade. And it's because they're terrified of being themselves. So they need you to buy the lie. They need you to buy the lie so that you don't validate for them all of the fears they have about themselves, all the insecurities they have about themselves, all the powerlessness they feel inside. That's the motive. They feel like a piece of shit on the inside, and they need you to buy the lie. They need you to buy the lie to prove that they're powerful and they can control you and that they don't have to face themselves. I'm sorry, honey, you're going to have to face yourself. I don't care what it is. You know what I mean? Like, and this is your power. This is your power. You have the courage to walk away from people like that. No, not acceptable. I don't care what you quote unquote do for me or give to me on some mundane bullshit level. I don't care about the house. I don't care. I don't care about the car. I don't care about whatever. I don't care. It's not worth it. To deal with your bullshit, it's not worth it. Your superpower is in walking away. And right now, I think that you were taught that you walking away creates problems for other people. They just want things to stay the same. They're settled in their unhappiness. They're settled in their codependency. I'll trade your bullshit so I don't have to deal with other bullshit. And you're like, no, 99% is not 100. And that shakes up everybody's fucking world. And you're meant to. And you're meant to. So embrace yourself. You do have the courage. It's been with you all along. It's been with you all along. And if people are getting tired of you being in their mirror, shining strength, well, then maybe they need to find their own. Maybe they need to stop tolerating other people's bullshit or being the person that tolerates other people's bullshit. Maybe they need to elevate themselves, or you wouldn't be in their reality constantly popping up. Like, hey, I reset again. Depending on where y'all fall in that dynamic ship with people. It's like the parents whose daughter moves home like 20 fucking times because they're constantly leaving exes. They're like, can't you just stay with somebody? I can't afford to have you come home with all these kids. It's like, well, maybe you should get a bigger house. Or a house with an in-law suite. Keep me separate. Maybe you should stop spending on your bullshit and upgrade the living situation because you know I do this. Right? For real. For real. All right, let's stay here. Bay leaves. timestamp the bay leaves. All right. I need to go back up in the chat. Because I know I got to cut without burning my sleeves. All right. So Miss Rita, your wish. And y'all can share wishes, okay? Like, if you didn't actually get into the member chat and get to throw a wish out, like, you can claim any one of these wishes. We're all connected. It's perfectly fine. So we've got an abundance wish. We've also got, I'm going to need more of these. And then we've got a happiness wish. I know I've got a peace one in there. Absolute unfuckwithable peace. We've got that on a bay leaf. Let's see, we've also got a balance one. Kind of ties into the sovereignty one that I've got, so we'll use both of them. Courageous and authenticity through all of these new opportunities. Remaining encouraged to stay courageous. In authenticity. Through all the new opportunities. Tell me how I got all of that. Written on a bay leaf. Lala, I got you. I got you. Love it. All right, what else? Yeah, we've got to make sure we don't stay in the same rut with other people. Exactly. I'm seeing some of the comments that I missed. No, you're not too late for bay leaves. We do have a peace one. We have an unfuckwithable peace one. We definitely can add in adventure. Because my saggy ass loves adventure. Are you kidding? We'll do divine adventures. And creativity. Unlocking creativity. I love that. All right. We also have financial freedom, a full bank account, because they're not the same. Okay. We also have absolute unfuckwithable peace. Successful move. So anybody looking to move, that is a successful move. We've got smooth transitions. Okay. We do have sovereignty, as well as thriving online business. All right. For those of you who want to claim these ones, okay, thriving online business, sovereignty, smooth transitions, successful moves, full bank accounts and financial freedom, and absolute unfuckwithable peace. I think that might be my favorite one. Then we've got happiness, abundance, balance, unlocking creativity, divine adventures, and remaining encouraged to stay courageous and authenticity throughout all the new opportunities. And I think that we're going to do one more for clarity of divine perspective. Clarity of divine perspective. And I like the courage one too, because that definitely resonates against, you know, aiding against the challenge with the square to Uranus that we're dealing with. And I like the adventure one too, because that resonates with the Juno yod. And we'll do a release. A release from past life pressure. That includes past life soulmates, that includes ancestral karma and all of the pressures that we get along with that stuff. So long as I am still alive and burning wishes, y'all can continue to put new wishes in the comments. Okay. You can continue to do that. So first, we're going to start with happiness. Thank you, Spirit. I should have probably got my tweezers because it's fucking hot. Oh, shit. Hello, tweezers. How you doing? Thank you for being my friend. All right. And then we have abundance. We're going to let Spirit take that one. Mind you guys, when we release these wishes to Spirit, it's so that we don't have to worry about it anymore. Like, we know Spirit's working on it. We let it go, release it to the divine, and that's what it's all about. So abundance. It's Spirit's job now. All we got to do is let the divine do what it does. Unlocking creativity is next. I know, I love them too. I love them. I love Bayleaf wishes. I'm so glad we're doing it again. All right. Clarity of divine perspective. There we go. Thank you, Spirit. Divine Adventures. The pyro in me. I love this shit. Balance is next. Ooh. Remaining encouraged. In our authenticity as we start moving through these new opportunities. Spirit's got you. Release from past life pressure. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Smooth transitions. Because we all know how rough transitions go. So we'll wish for smooth ones. We're going to transition. Divine bless us with it being smooth. My poor tweezers. I'm going to have to get new ones. Full bank account. Claim it. Claim it. Claim it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. Absolute unfuckwithable peace. Claim it, claim it, claim it. For real. Thank you, Spirit. Complete and absolute unfuckwithable peace. Amen. Thriving online businesses. Claim it, claim it, claim it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. There we go. Love it. Financial freedom. Financial freedom. Thank you, Spirit. Claim it, claim it, claim it. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Spirit. Successful moves. If you are looking to move, claim it, claim it, claim it. You are looking to move. Claim it, claim it, claim it. I know a couple of my Divine Rebels got that one. And last but not least, and maybe most importantly so, in order for every other wish to manifest, sovereignty. That no one else's energy would hold sway or dictate over what we choose for our own selves. That our energy is ours and ours alone. In connection with Spirit, working the magic that it does. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? You're just in time to make a wish if you'd like. Caught it in divine time. Yes. If anybody else has any wishes that they would like to put in the comments, now is the time to do just that. Then I'm going to get ready and pop over to Facebook because I'm going to do Free Card Friday. I'm going to pull 3 cards. Well, 3 individuals. I'm going to pull cards for 3 individuals, a guidance card for everybody. Absolutely free over on Facebook. For my YouTube family who does not know the Facebook page, it is literally Myths of Magic Rising on Facebook too. You can catch the replay of Tanya's collective coffee this morning as well, which is nice. So if that is it for today, I'm gonna be patient and wait just in case there's a delay or people are typing, because God knows if you were in the middle of giving me a wish right now. And I'm like, all right, everybody, love you, bye. And just like, no. I could not imagine doing that to my rebels. But if y'all are good, then you're good. You know, if y'all are good, that makes me feel good. You're welcome, guys. I love y'all so much. This kind of stuff, not only is it like nice to tune into spirit and have that divine conversation and confirm that you're worthy of receiving, you know what I mean? But that the divine is listening to you as well, right? The act of Bayleaf burning and wishes it's an ancient thing that people way back, hundreds and hundreds of years ago have done. And it really is acknowledging that you're allowed to have this conversation with spirit and that you're heard, you know, and that's important. So Miss Sherry, we've got love, peace, and prosperity. Oh, we definitely had a peace one. We have absolute unfuckwithable peace as one. And we've got some, I can do prosperity because you know what? Financial freedom and a full bank account and prosperity aren't necessarily the same thing. So we'll do prosperity. Here we go. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you in the highest. We love you and appreciate you. And love. We'll do a love wish. Unconditional love. And you know what? Loving reciprocity. Which also makes me want to do beautiful divine mirrors. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very, very much. So we've got loving reciprocity. Thank you, Spirit. Unconditional love. You're most welcome. Oh, come on, we're allowed to receive. And beautiful divine mirrors. Beautiful divine mirrors. Spirit, we love you and appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In the highest, for you, we are eternally grateful. And that will conclude the new moon in Aquarius live. And so until we next meet, which Divine Rebels, y'all are going to have me on Sunday. Hardcore. I'll be live for you guys for the Weekly Duality Report Sunday. I'll be doing the personal Divine Rebel Diamond weekly read. And then I'm most likely going to try and squeeze in March's preview. I'm going to give you guys early access to all the March energies. Make it public after, but it's going to divert back to members only as well. So you guys will get a sneak peek and then exclusive replays. All right. I know. I love y'all so much. Thank you, everybody, for your presence. Thank you, everybody who was in the live chat and the comments after, who's dropped likes and has even shared this out. We appreciate y'all so much. And until we next meet, much love and support to you always. Take care, everyone.